Last time on Resident Evil, the final chapter!
They got everything wrong. I'm fairly certain that Resident Evil, the final chapter, was designed to make you go insane if you bothered to remember anything about the plots from the previous movies. We've already had some major continuity gaffes, and it's about to get a lot worse.
You asked why I would turn against Umbrella, and I promised you an answer.
We then find out that basically Umbrella's main goal wasn't anything they said or remotely even acted like they were working towards in any of the other movies, but instead just wanted to do Samuel L. Jackson's scheme from Kingsman.
Our world is coming to an end.
What do you propose?
That we end the world, but on our terms. An orchestrated apocalypse. One that will cleanse the Earth of its population but leave its infrastructure and resources intact.
The virus didn't just wipe out human life. Lakes and rivers dried up, forests became deserts, and whole continents were reduced to nothing more than barren wastelands.
You know, even if the third movie hadn't have said that the T-Virus was pretty much killing the Earth, a zombie apocalypse? You think that's the way to leave the world's infrastructure and resources intact? Isaacs, you should have stayed dead! You were too dumb to live!
The chosen few will ride out the storm underground. We will emerge onto a cleansed Earth, one that we can then reboot in our image. The T-Virus.
Here, at least deliberately.
Yeah, except it was Spence, Alice's partner at Umbrella. He wanted to steal the virus and sell it. That was the reason for the outbreak, not Umbrella and not Isaacs.
I was created to serve the Umbrella Corporation, but I was also programmed to value human life.
The Red Queen is determined to destroy all life on Earth.
She must have just been having an off day when Retribution happened and she killed all those people. Also, as of this movie, Isaacs programmed her, so why would he put in that value human lives thing into her when it's something that goes against his plans? It would be incredibly short-sighted to think that this would never come up.
Dr. Isaacs allowed the virus to escape. He murdered over 7 billion people.
That's why Umbrella was working to reverse and contain the virus in the first 3 movies, because that's the exact opposite of what they wanted.
Suppression measures have failed. Can't contain it. The infection's spreading faster than anyone could have anticipated.
The Umbrella Corporation thought they'd contained the infection. They were wrong.
Dr. Ashford, you're too important to Umbrella to be put at risk.
Ashford was so important to Umbrella, so shouldn't he have been frozen with all the other Umbrella higher-ups then? Oh yeah, he was important to the previous continuity. Kill him!
What news of Project Alice?
Using antibodies from her blood, I will develop a serum that will not just combat the effects of the T-Virus, but potentially reverse it.
Umbrella sure spent the majority of this movie series working against themselves, didn't they?
My programming will not allow me to harm an employee of the Umbrella Corporation.
Oh yeah, the Red Queen cannot harm an Umbrella employee. I'm sure that holds up. You just have to ignore how this entire movie series started, with the Red Queen purposely killing a bunch of Umbrella employees to make sure the T-Virus didn't escape.
Kill her. Kill her now. You don't have any choice. Do it. Kill her. But I was also programmed to value human life.
And don't forget the Red Queen killed a bunch of Umbrella employees in Retribution. Oh wait, we have to forget the entirety of that movie for this one to work. Never mind.
I am powerless to stop Dr. Isaacs, but you are not.
And what kind of logical BS is it to say, I cannot go against Dr. Isaacs, but I can secretly plot against him with you? That doesn't go against him. Except it does.
In 37 minutes, the last of the human settlements will fall.
If we're acting like the population is a falling number as we get closer to the deadline, what is Alice gonna save, like 2 people? Isaacs then kills all of his men because he's completely crazy now, or something. I don't know. None of this makes much sense.
It's an air intake for the hive. Come on. No.
Don't telegraph too hard who will be the one to get killed here, movie.
After slowly sneaking through the fan blades because, they didn't want to spook them, Dead Girl super seals her fate by flipping Wesker off.
Reverse polarity of the turbine.
Wesker reversing the polarity of the neutron flow of course makes the fan go from blow to suck, and wow, he must have known exactly how this would play out as Fangirl is exactly the one to go all chappy, and after he gets her, he of course shuts it off. If you just left the fans sucking here, Wesker, they'd all be dead. Would that have made too much sense? Clearly that motorcycle should have been left in charge, the most competent Umbrella employee. There are now ridiculously huge air duct tunnels complete with light panels. Why would Umbrella ever have needed these? Well, to catch people, of course, because these things are full of traps. Oh no, I sure will miss, that guy, whoever he was. Even Alice gets caught by one, which of course means it just dumps her into Umbrella's dimly lit lab room instead of dropping her to her death because she's the main character. And why wouldn't they have traps built just to drop people on top of their scientists? One of Alice's cannon fodder team gets dropped in with her, and he dies right away.
That shows you for not being Alice.
Goodbye, buddy. We didn't get to know you at all. Just like the rest of this team, except Claire. Good storytelling. This crocodile thingy down here could have been a hunter instead. That might have at least been something sorta neat for this stupid movie series to finally use. Alice and Claire boyfriend then team up to find out that just past the laser hallway from the first movie, if they just pressed some random keys on a computer, they have been taken down to the Senate room from the Star Wars prequels. That's actually a pretty sweet reference considering this movie's main plot of horrible continuity. Alright, what this really is gonna cause a whole new slew of issues. This is the room with all the peoplesicles that Umbrella has on ice waiting out the zombie apocalypse.
The Umbrella High Command, waiting out the apocalypse. Noah's Ark for the rich. Powerful.
Meaning Umbrella had the infection start at the same facility they are holding all the people to repopulate the Earth after it's done. This is also why the final chapter was trying to pretend that it was the government and not Umbrella who blew a hole into Raccoon City. Because this also now means that Umbrella, in an attempt to undermine their own plan, blew up the area that housed their entire end goal and higher-ups. Even if you pretend that the explosion was the government's fault, Umbrella still sent troops into the hive, again jeopardizing their end goals as they could have ruined everything with the frozen people by frying the computers and stuff in the same facility.
Bitch wouldn't open the door, so I had to fry her.
Umbrella wouldn't likely relay all their information to every branch. I can believe that, but I think they would keep their people not in the know away from the hive and ruining everything that they're working towards. As of this movie.
We're to be trapped underground for decades?
We don't want to be trapped underground, that's stupid! Unless it's our plan we don't know about yet.
Even if you want to go with Umbrella didn't actually mean to have the viral outbreak start in the hive, they were still developing the T-virus in the same facility where they're keeping all their important frozen people. That's kind of like shitting where you eat, and we don't need no shit sandwich. Umbrella has had 3 different underground bunkers in this series. Any one of them could have been used to separate where they kept their VIPs and T-virus research. But Paul Anderson just wanted to make the hive super important again, despite it completely undermining his story. This movie is so taxing to talk about. Almost every plot element introduced conflicts so hard with anything beforehand. I mean, this series has never been good at continuity, but the final chapter is the worst. Which is really impressive considering they had already pretty much destroyed the world in the 3rd movie, then had to try and pretend that didn't happen. Speaking of, here's Isaacs! The real Isaacs! Yup, the other one was another crazy clone! Real Isaacs is the 50% owner of Umbrella, along with Alicia Marcus. Just let that one sink in for a moment.
Dr. Isaacs, how good of the science division to join us.
Chairman Wesker, I've been busy.
Continue with your research, Doctor. Well, it still is your research.
The longer we leave her out there, the greater chance we lose her again. I can't risk that.
That decision isn't yours to make. You will take no action until this matter has been discussed by the committee. And Doctor, that's an order.
Yeah, when we first met Isaacs, Chairman Wesker was clearly in charge of him. Umbrella is such a high-profile company in this movie series. This would be kind of like if Bill Gates cloned himself, made the clone just a division leader at Microsoft, and everyone said, oh yeah, Bill Gates, he's just a middle manager at the company. I've completely forgotten that he's the founder. Also, remember, Umbrella apparently didn't know what had happened down in the hive, despite apparently having other parts of it still in operation after the incident. And Wesker knew about these parts of the hive the whole time, despite clearly not in the other films. Claire then blows her way out of a glass cage instead of blowing her foot up because luckily she sprayed it with anti-explosion bat gas earlier.
I'm gonna need you to place your weapons on the floor.
Why would I want to do that?
This is what you're after, yes? Well, there's only one vial. I drop it here. The antivirus goes nowhere, and your hopeless dreams will die sooner rather than later.
This antivirus couldn't find its way out of the hive, but we're supposed to believe the fact that if it's dropped outside, it'll cure the entire Earth? And wait a second, the antivirus is crucial to your take the Earth back after the zombie apocalypse plan. And you mean to say you only made one vial of it, and if you dropped it in here, it'd be useless. What a bad plan, and it's been so solid up to this point. Oh, and Claire boyfriend is a traitor. That'd be quite a twist if I knew anything about him or cared about his character. So, why didn't he just shoot Alice in the back when he had the chance to earlier? Oh yeah, because this is a poorly written piece of trash.
You've done well, Doc.
Why does Isaacs Prime even know who this guy is? You're saying before he went into deep freeze they had it all planned out for Beardy Bozo to infiltrate survivors and almost get killed by Isaacs' clone? They really thought through everything that they didn't think through. Isaacs also has magical computer upgrades that let him predict Alice's moves before she makes them and basically gives him super Alice powers. Boy, doesn't that make all the time Umbrella and the other Isaacs spent trying to figure out Alice's superpowers seem a bit silly if they had something which apparently worked better already developed before the T-virus outbreak even?
I'm Dr. Alexander Roland Isaacs, the original.
When I met out there, he thought exactly the same thing.
They always try harder and fight longer, even to the death, as long as they think they're the real thing.
If they think they are the real 50% owner of Umbrella, why the hell would they be okay with being placed in lower levels of the company? But wait, why not one more clone twist?
You thought you were the original, but I'm afraid she holds that dubious honor. Alicia Marcus, co-owner of the Umbrella Corporation.
Alice being a clone of one of the owners of Umbrella is absolutely asinine. Also, nice one, Alicia Alice. Sure, Alicia has her make you look old disease going, but she still looks like Alice. And we saw earlier she was active in the company, and I'm sure what her father was doing with the T-virus must have gotten a bit of attention. So again, this would be similar to the low-level Isaacs placed in Umbrella. Also,
without the original projectile, his progress has been difficult. I've been forced to replicate it using clone genetic models.
Did you forget this movie? Them trying to copy Alice to figure out how she bonded with the T-virus was the main plot of 4 of these 6 movies. Wouldn't it kind of be a no-duh situation that the reason was the virus was developed for the original her? And no one at Umbrella ever thought of that. Not even those Isaacs clones who thought they were the real one and should have known about Alicia Marcus. How can you be so dumb as to write this? What, did Paul Anderson have memory loss?
I'm not a clone.
You must have wondered why you remember nothing of your childhood.
Memory loss! Here's another Resident Evil trope that we must repeat and only half remember. Why did Alice have memory loss in the first movie? Because of that amnesia gas the Red Queen sprayed people with. She wasn't the only one, and she remembered everything by the end of that movie. Hell, Isaacs tried to get rid of her memories again at the end of 2, and what happened?
My name is Alice, and I remember everything.
Except my childhood. If you only partially remember the memory loss thing, you can go, oh yeah, I guess that clone twist for the 87th time makes sense, and it's perfect because you have to have memory loss to make that work.
You were created in her image, as was I.
That's why I'm played by your daughter in this one.
My likeness and voice were based on childhood recordings of Alicia Marcus.
That's why I have a British accent, because both you and Alicia Marcus...
I'm the child she was. You are the woman she would have been.
Neither of those statements are true. Remember when the Red Queen was the AI who with cold calculation would sacrifice people to potentially save more lives? And wasn't this overly sentimental computer with the delusions of representing someone's lost youth? Also, don't forget, as of this movie, Isaacs programmed her. So he put this into her when it would only potentially lead her to undermining his plans. Wow.
You are so much better than I ever could be.
You were frozen up until a couple minutes ago. How do you know? And why does Isaacs know so much about Alice? It's almost like this wasn't thought through.
You've changed nothing. You've saved no one.
Yeah, that seems pretty apt.
I still own 50% of this company.
Yet Alicia Marcus seemingly has done nothing to stop any of this. She apparently went along with the cleanse the earth with zombies plan, allowed clones to be made of herself, and went into deep freeze. So she's tried nothing and she's all out of ideas.
When you uploaded that file to the Red Queen's data stream, you turned against the corporation.
Oh wait, I'm sorry. Apparently Alicia uploaded that Umbrella boardroom video to the Red Queen, which she would have had to have done after the zombie apocalypse while she was in deep freeze, since she only just got out of it now. Why is every line in this movie wrong? Save me, Barry! Oh, yeah, he's already dead, just like all my hopes and dreams at this point.
Albert Wesker, you're fired.
That was a good movie. An inconvenient RoboCop. That's it. I'm gonna get myself a Wesker that's more environmentally friendly. So, what happened to Wesker's T-virus powers? He still had them in the last movie when he was pretending to give Alice her powers back. What'd he do? Also lie to himself about him having his powers?
I spent the entire last movie rescuing a woman I wanted dead, then betrayed myself by removing my powers so I could be easily killed by a door.
Wesker! Man, they really downgraded Wesker in this one, huh? All he did was stand around in the super hidden hive room, then wake up the real boss, who he used to be the boss of, then forgot he has T-virus powers and got killed by a door. Weak star! Luckily, Alice's magic betrayal sense went off earlier, despite Claire's BF not really doing anything to give himself away, and she gave him an empty automatic earlier. Luckily, he never tested it or had anything to shoot before before the betrayal scene.
How did you know it was me?
You're still alive.
Yeah, because the zombies and other creatures really care which side you're on. The traitor could have been killed by any of those, Miss Cloney. Alice is feeling really generous today, though, and he gets to be Claire's kill.
No! How nice that Claire actually got to do something. Sure, it was shooting a guy that was already down, but it was something.
Whatever. If you keep this trigger depressed, you keep Umbrella's dreams alive.
I should have killed you in Washington.
But I didn't know the plot then.
Only has to evade you for another few minutes, and the last remaining human outposts will fall.
I know that because I don't.
Help me.
You're dying. Just get on with it.
Remember when Wesker survived explosions and head-on plane collisions because of his T-virus infection, but now a door kills him?
Dr. Isaacs, you and the Umbrella High Command.
Yes?
You are all going to die down here.
Yes, I remember the first movie. The only one of these that wasn't a complete steaming pile. You don't have to keep reminding me. I remember it apparently better than you do, Paul Anderson.
Wow, Claire's gonna be part of this final battle with Isaacs? Nope, she's taken out immediately.
Whatever.
It's really frustrating to me too, because Claire Redfield is one of my favorite characters in the game series, and the movies just keep bringing her back to play Alice cheerleader.
My groin!
And then they take you back to the first movie. Again! And we can never have enough of the mother sandwiching lasers. This is so sad. It's not even the first time she's fought in Isaacs in the laser hall. And then Alice dodges lasers, a la the sequence from the first film. This is just repeated ideas of repeated ideas at this point.
That was pathetic.
Anywho, Isaac has super strength because of a computer in his head. It makes sense if you don't think about it, like everything in this film. Then the most shocking thing in the film happens. Alice gets her fingers cut off. Alice got injured? This is really amazing. Of course she only gets hurt like this if it's part of her plan.
Now it's over.
Luckily, she put that grenade on the other side of him than where the antivirus was. It's also extremely convenient that that grenade only took out the one side of him. Oops!
Go!
Doesn't take Alice much convincing. What is it rebooting exactly? His exploded side? It doesn't have to make sense. It's Resident Fairy Tale, the final chapter. And once again, someone in a movie has no peripheral vision or can hear someone coming up on them. How did he get up here when Alice had to take a long elevator? Why, rebooting gives you wings! Don't be silly!
What the hell are you?
I'm you idiot.
Clones? In this movie series? It's the first time! So crazy Clone Isaacs kills the real computer Isaacs and then doesn't hear a horde of zombies right behind him. Sure. You know, though, I bet there's a lot of innocent people as well in some of those deep freeze tubes, like children and family members brought or even kind of forced into this. Oh well, blow them all up! It's the one thing that's carried over from Retribution. It doesn't matter if we kill people if they aren't awake. Besides, based on the final countdown, there's a good 5 or so people left, I guess. That's good enough. And the magic antivirus insta-kills all the zombies. And if this was a perfect world, Alice would die too. But it's not.
Originally, when you wrote the script, I did die.
I thought it was very emotional. But I have to say, with the ending we now have, it's just as emotional as if you had died.
Nah, there would have been a lot more joy if Alice had died at the end.
Alice, you did it.
I rebooted too. That's how I got out in time.
Why am I still alive? I don't know.
Sorry, that'd make too much sense, and we can't stop the stupid quite yet.
When Isaacs died, I could bring myself back online and stop the attacks on the remaining human settlements.
How? They're zombies, not robots, and if it was up to you the entire time, you could have just stopped everything!
Why am I still alive? I don't know.
The antivirus only destroyed the T-virus within your body. You are now free of infection.
I thought I would die.
We had to know if you were willing to make the sacrifice.
Where does evil ol' Alicia Marcus, I let my company go with the clear the earth out with zombies plan, get off by testing her clone's morality? Screw you, Alicia Prime.
Before she died, Alicia downloaded her memories.
Technology sure improved during the zombie apocalypse.
For you.
For you.
The childhood you never had.
Yeah, these aren't Alice's memories, though. They are from an evil dead woman. She has led a completely different life than her, and these are a stranger's memories that you're trying to say would belong to her just because she's a clone of her. That's really ass backwards to act like a clone isn't their own person when our hero is now a clone, and part of the story is about her being better than the original. Though this movie series has never known what the hell it's trying to say about clones, despite them being one of the main focuses. Alice then rides off without Claire. Why would she stay with the only other living human in the area? That only makes sense, and there's no reason to start that now!
The antivirus is airborne, spread by the winds. It could take years for it to reach every corner of the Earth. Until then, my work is not done.
So, you didn't save humanity in time, then? We can assume Claire died off screen because she didn't know what to do without Alice there to change her diapers, so finally the Earth has been ridden of everyone but Alice, and Paul W.S. Anderson can finally be happy. And thus ends the Resident Alice Clone series. What a ride! A miserable, frustrating, inconsistent ride. This series started off okay, it really did. The first movie isn't the greatest, but in a bubble, it's an alright zombie movie and could have been a different story taking place in the overall Resident Evil universe. But Alice went from a realistic seeming person to a super being, constantly had game characters pop in to do nothing but watch her in awe, and the plots kept getting overblown to the point that's hard to feel like there's anything real at stake. Especially given how inconsistent all the characters and plots in this series were. Retribution spent its entire runtime building up to a movie that didn't happen, and instead the movie that did pretty much contradicted everything that happened in it. Paul Anderson and Mila Jovovich have both made things that I've enjoyed, but the Resident Evil series is one of the longest running cinematic messes. It comes off like different people must have came in to write and direct every movie, and it still completely astounds me that it was only one person, Paul W.S. Anderson, who could even manage to write each movie like it came from its own alternate universe's continuity.
The woman who has no memories finally has memories.
Even if those memories come from a completely different person, and it's never been a plot in any of the other movies. So really, it is the perfect way to end the Resident Alice sandwich show. But you know, in a way, I'm gonna miss the Paul Anderson Alice series. What the hell am I saying? No, I won't! Why would I leave my sandwich on the chair? That's just stupid.